we want to make sure that we recognize and celebrate Women's History Month, and give a chance to those that are not with us right here in the area to also join us through the Zoom and or Facebook. So as you all know, Women's History Month was created to honor the contribution of women to not just the United States and the whole world, really, because it's part of also, there's also an International Women's Day that's coming up, I think, if not mistaken, on the 8th. Can somebody correct me on that? I think,
and that's my birthday.
I think is your birthday too, Amy?
Born a woman, born on March 8th.
It's my birthday too.
Birthday. Oh, wow.
Wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, because the month of March is dedicated to remembering the glass ceiling shattering the suffragists, the ones that participate in the suffrage in the United States, the visionaries, the trailblazer women who had fought for equality on behalf of women today and women of the future. And obviously, we all know the history of women's suffrage. We all know the history of the struggles that women have had in, getting leadership positions, and the pay gap and all those kind of things that have been going on for years. Things are getting better, but they're not there yet, are they? So
Right.
That's what this is about. We wanted to give the opportunity to the Northwest Florida and North Florida powerful women that we have amongst us to come out and say a few words, answer a few questions, and hopefully the people that are out there listening will get something from the presentation of Dr. Zimmerman, from the discussion that we will have with everybody. If you all don't mind, I'd like to start with a prayer, just join me if you like on this. Dear Jesus, we thank you for the opportunity to be here together with these ladies and everybody else that will be joining us throughout the Zoom session. This is a very important month in which we acknowledge the women, and we know that by your book, in your word, women had a very, very prominent and powerful effect on everything that went on during those times. We ask for blessings for all of these ladies and their families. We ask for blessings for our nation. We ask for the blessings for the nation of Ukraine as they are going through these tremendous struggles in which they are being confronted by a nation that doesn't believe in you. And we hope that it will end soon, and lay your hand on that nation and protect as many people as possible, and let it end very soon. We ask you for blessings and health for everybody in our families, and continued success for the companies, the organizations, and the jobs that these ladies with us are doing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
If you don't mind also, whoever wants to, you can also speak in English, in Spanish if you want to, that is okay. If you want to say something in English and Spanish for the bilingual audience that may be out there, or the Spanish speaking audience that may be listening to you and to us, that is just fine, because we are a bilingual company. Conexion Media Group is very proud to say that, and we are very proud to try and outreach to the multicultural communities throughout the region. And that was also what was very important for us to have in this panel, and the speakers, a lot of multicultural ladies amongst us, and ladies in leadership positions, and owners of companies, and people that are doing some great stuff throughout the region. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up for those of you that are part of the panel. And Dr. Zimmerman, I'm going to do an introduction of you prior to you coming on. So I'll do that if you don't mind. But just the ladies that are part of the panel to introduce themselves. And I'm going to call you by name if you don't mind. And then just come up and just give us your 30 or 45-second elevator speech about your company, who you are, and that kind of thing. And we'll have later on more opportunity to go deeper into what you all do. And again, I've been placing your bios throughout the day and throughout the week onto Facebook and our event page. Theola Bright, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I can. Good evening, everyone. God has blessed me with a ministry that uses the arts, culinary, literary, performing, and visual arts. And I use the arts to spread the gospel, the good news, in every form. That's it in a nutshell, really.
Thank you very much, Theola. And I know you do a great job and a great thing throughout the region, and also a wonderful artist, singer, and performer.
Thank you.
Dr. Chapa, can you come on and tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. I'm Dr. Chapa. I have a PhD in international business, so I'm a faculty at Florida State University. I direct Hispanic marketing communication and oversee the certificates in multicultural marketing communication. I work with graduate students in doing research that can help us to understand the Hispanic markets, the different Hispanic segments and audiences. And it is an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chapa, for being with us. I know you are a very busy person with the center and where you work with FSU and everything that you do. And we appreciate you coming on the short notice also. Paula Connor.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here and so excited that David invited me and I get to see some familiar faces as well. To the ones that don't know me, I'm Paula Connor. I'm the tri-state realtor in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. Been doing this for over 12 years now, and I have been blessed with opening my own branch here in Pensacola. We have 10 agents now in less than 3 months, and I'm very happy growing. So that's all about me.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Paola. Congratulations on the company. And I know that you're a very successful realtor already, and I'm sure the company will also. All right, let me see. Who else do we got here? We got Dr. Karen Brown. Come on up, please, Dr. Brown.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. I am Dr. Karen Brown. I live here in Crestview. I spent 26 years in the United States Army and retired and started my own company, and it's called Infinity Link International. And I was very happy to hear Dr. Chapa talk about being an international business woman. My degree is international psychology. And what we do with Infinity Link International is that we work with organizations, companies, and even individuals in determining what their needs are in terms of cultural engagement. So we talk about race, ethnicity, religion, and all these things, and how we can collaborate with one another and operate in a manner that makes good sense for all involved and benefit for everyone. So that's what I do.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brown. Appreciate it. I know you came in right at the last second also because Alicia could not join us, and it's much appreciated. Great to meet you. Elizabeth Ritchie, I think will be coming back here soon. Lauren Sint.
Hello, everybody. I will do it both in English and Spanish. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Lauren Sint y para los que no me conocen, yo tengo una compañía de impuestos y también ofrecemos contabilidad, nómina, seguros de workers' comp. Estamos en Panama City, pero podemos hacer todo electrónicamente. Hay clientes que tengo que nunca conozco en persona. Hi, my name is Lauren Sint, and for those who don't know me, I am one of the business partners with Patriot Tax Solutions, and we don't only do taxes for business and individual, but we also offer payroll services, workers' comp insurance, new business setups, all the accounting needs you have. And we can do everything electronically, remotely, from anywhere you're at in the United States or the world, we could service you. I've done clients that are deployed in Japan, and you could download an app or other remote services.
Outstanding. The power of the online and internet and cyberspace. That is for sure. Yeah. Let me see. We got Amy Williamson. Come on up, Amy, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a great honor to be here with all these great leaders. Okay, to those who I wish I can speak Spanish, but I just look like Spanish. But
you can do it in Filipino if you want to, because I'm sure there's Filipinos out there.
I'm sure I have words right now. But okay, well, to those who doesn't know me, I'm Amy Williamson. I am the CEO of SEZ Aerospace. We are an MRO, which is the maintenance, repair, and overhaul of the aircraft. And okay, what else? We do service not only in the United States, but also in the territories and abroad. And our company was built since 2016. Start from 0 employee to up to over 350 employees now. Wow. So that's basically what we're doing. I am surrounded with all these great men, and I'm the only woman. But hey, women We got this, right? Women power. But it's such a great honor and for being here. And thanks for inviting David.
You are welcome, and thanks for coming. Appreciate it. I know you are a very busy woman also there in the area of Mobile, and your company continues to grow and doing great things.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Patricia Huitron, tell us a little bit about
Patricia
yourself.
Withdrawn. How are you? I'm not sure if I'm live on my Facebook, and it's totally in Spanish, so I will try my best to do it in both. So first, thank you everyone for such wonderful opportunity to be here with great women like you. My name is Patricia Withdrawn, to those who doesn't know me, and I'm the owner of the only Hispanic media in North Florida. Actually, they are like, I don't know, 2 more, but no for live and what we do is streaming. So for me, this has been a huge challenge, and I'm so happy to share my experiences with you guys.
Thank you very much, Patricia. We appreciate you coming on. And how was the World of Nations Festival? I saw some of the great reports you did.
Yeah, it was wonderful. You missed that opportunity.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna be waiting for Dr. Elizabeth Ritchie to join us and also give her her 30 to 45-second elevator speech. She had a meeting that she was attending. But while we wait, because she's gonna come on at 6:30, I'm gonna give the opportunity to also do their 30 to 45-second elevator speech to some of you that are joining us. You're not part of the official event in the sense of speaking, but you get the chance to give us your 30 to 45-second elevator speech because this is also a networking event. So who do we got out there? Let me see. Let me look at my gallery over here because I know I saw several friends that came up and others that joined us. I'm going to call your name and you just come on over and tell us who you are. Carolyn Sonia, tell us who you are, please.
Good evening, David. Hey, it's great to join all of you tonight. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Dr. Carolyn Zonia. I'm an emergency physician and candidate for State Senate Seat 2. I'm running because it's time to put families first. For decades, our state has prioritized and incentivized big corporations with tax cuts and kickbacks. And we all want to do more than just get by. Putting families first is still business friendly because business depends on strong families. And when families thrive, communities and business prosper. Please learn more about me at zonia4sd2.com. I'm working to earn your trust and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carolyn, and I hope you can stay for the entire activity because we're going to have some great presentations and also discussion. And I also invite everyone to go ahead and put your information on the chat. Feel free to put your websites and contact info. If you want to talk directly with one of the people that are here, just do the private chat. Just network and connect with each other. Okay. Dana Terry from Tallahassee, tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here and to speak with every one of you. I will include more information in the chat, but really quickly, I do have a startup. It's an online marketplace for anyone who has a product or a service to create an online storefront and upload those products and services for sale. All transactions are handled through a PayPal integration, and there's also a contract management system for any services and any business proposals and things of that sort. Y voy a intentar decirle en español también. Yo tengo una plataforma. Bueno, me llamo Dana Terry. Gracias a todos. Yo tengo una plataforma en línea que se llama Interpowered y es para la gente que tiene una tienda de productos o servicios. Voy a pasar más información a través de los mensajes. Gracias.
Excelente, Dana. Muy bueno tu español. Pamela, are you playing with your telephone over there? I can tell you. I can see your smiling face on a picture and then your face over there playing with the phone also. Can you hear me, Pamela Sparks? Okay, she's trying to fix her phone. That's what it is. Danielle Williams, tell us a little bit about yourself. And unmute yourself and talk to us. 30 to 45-second elevator speech, please.
Hi, Danielle Williams, Mobile, Alabama. I do city poetry. My mission is reconfiguration of social literacy for a nonprofit. I work a lot with the youth and outreach, trying to get us to develop more literacy skills in our community. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me see. I got Carolyn Taylor. How you doing, Carolyn? You want to join us and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, David, sorry about that.
How are you?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Carolyn Taylor. I actually came to hear Dr. Z speak, Dr. Jennifer Zimmerman. I worked for her when she ran against Matt Gaetz in 2018. I am now running for Florida State House District 2. I also worked for Senator Warren when she ran for president in the Panhandle, and went to Georgia for the Senate runoff. So protecting the vote is definitely important to me. I'm here for any questions. I'll drop my website in the chat, but otherwise looking forward to hearing you all and hearing Dr. Z, who is Filipino. So if you would have spoken Filipino or that language, we would have had someone that would have understood. Thank you so
Out
much.
there in Zoom, I'm sure in Facebook land, there's a lot of them listening in. Okay. Thank you
Yes,
very much, Carolyn, for joining us. Let me see. I got Pamela still working on her phone. All right, come back later, Pam. Okay, that's okay. Moore, come on up and tell us about yourself. 30 to 45-second elevator speech, please. Can you hear me, Mo? No? Okay. How about Mercedes Ferris? Mercedes.
Hi, David. I won't have the camera on because I am so much not presentable right now, but thank you for the opportunity. Do y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
I am Mercedes Ferris. I own Happy Planet Cleaners, which is an eco-friendly cleaning company, and Latin Flair Events, which I partner with David a lot and help plan the logistics on some of his events. And I am now the Multicultural Committee Chair for the Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce. As my goal as the committee chair is to start or work towards bringing education to the underrepresented community. I hear a lot of ladies here that I think will be a great fit to help spread knowledge to the respective communities that we're trying to reach. My goal also is to have every class and every presentation or workshop presented in various languages. So what I'm trying to do is get our survey translated, well, it's translated, but get it distributed in various communities so we can hear and get the feedback from people in the community as to what they need to help build their business. And so once I can get some more data, then I can start building workshops, free workshops around that data, and present it at the Chamber of Commerce's multicultural meetings the second Thursday of every month at the Chamber. So if anybody's interested, I'd love for y'all to reach out to me and send me a message. As I'd love to have anyone who has any type of service that can help small businesses grow, please reach out to me so we can go ahead and get you on the books and have some free workshops for our community.
All right, thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you.
For the other ladies that are here as guests, not the ones that are participating in the program of activities, Miss Peggy Schiller, Mo, Sarah Rodriguez, who just joined us. We are going to come back for another round of elevator speeches, so we will get you at that time if you don't mind. But to stay on the timeline, Elizabeth, are you back up?
Here I am.
All right, all right. I'm going to try and stay on the military-like timeline for this one, and then that way we can have a little cushion that we built in there and use it as necessary to expand and or be able to do a couple other things that we may not have on the list here. But Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about yourself before we start the panel, just a 30 to 45-second elevator speech type of thing.
Sure. Thank you for organizing this, and thank you all for being here. I'm enjoying learning about you. My name's Elizabeth Ritchie. I'm an immigration attorney. I live in Tallahassee. I practice nationwide. I speak Spanish. I do I-9 compliance, which might be good for the chamber members that you were just talking about, and any business owner. So people who have employees need to have I-9 forms. I'm available for consultations, especially this week with H-1Bs. The window just opened. But I'm just glad to be here among other women business owners and learn from you and network with you.
Outstanding. Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for being with us.
Thank you.
And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to also upload, if I can find it here real quick, the information for all of you so everybody knows a little bit more about you background-wise. And then we'll get started with the official panel discussion part of things. I know some of you did not get a chance to send me the questions that you wanted to participate in. As you guys know, what we wanted to do was send you some questions ahead so that you could prepare some answers, and then discuss, those particular answers, or after we hear your particular comment on any of them. But that's okay, right? We're going to go with the flow. Is that okay for those of you that were not able to send it to me? Awesome, outstanding. All right, so we'll now transition into our panel kind of discussion here. As I mentioned just now, I sent several questions to the panelists and gave them a chance to think about which ones they wanted to talk about, and then give us whatever answer they came up with. And for those of you that did not get the chance, just again, intercede as much as you need to. We named the program Honoring the Trailblazers by Leading the Present and Helping Build the Future. And I think all of you guys are the epitome of that, in the sense, because you guys are already leading. All of you that are part of the panel in some way or another are leaders of your company, your organization, your practice in the case of Elizabeth. And so that leadership position that you have is a very important one in your entity. And then in helping build the future, what I was hoping to accomplish with that is maybe get you to talk about some of the things that you yourself are doing in helping build that future. I know a few of you very well, and I know that you do many things that are helping others to hopefully in the future take your spots, because that's what leaders should do, right? Leaders should be able to form, whether it's a family member or somebody that they mentor into the type of person that they want to be, and hopefully replace them at some time, because we all have to retire at some point, don't we? So that was what the point behind the title that we gave to this presentation, or to this event. And so I want to start with that first piece, the Honoring the Trailblazers. And the basic question on this one was, is there a woman in history for you, or somebody in your family, or somebody that came through your life as you were growing up or starting your career, that you admire, and why? I am going to start with Lauren, because Lauren did respond that she wanted to answer that one. So Lauren Sint, what is your answer to that? What would you like to say?
Well, it's not the women I have chosen. It's not really someone that is known or someone that I personally know. Many times I think we forget about the women, the mothers who raised up great citizens, and they're sometimes forgotten to give them the credit. So I chose Sonia Robinson Copeland. She is the mother of Dr. Ben Carson and Curtis Carson. Dr. Ben Carson is a great brain surgeon, and his brother Curtis became an aeronautical engineer. I admire her because she had a 3rd grade education. She was illiterate, and actually her boys, when they were young, they didn't even know. And she got married at 15. And then she found out that her husband had not been divorced and had another family. So she left them and left with her 2 boys. And her now Dr. Ben Carson, he had a tantrum. He had a bad temperament growing up, and they were very poor growing up. And so I admire her, how one day she used to do housekeeping, and she saw that those people that she used to work for had a lot of books. And so she came home one day and told those boys, no more TV, cut it off. You're gonna start reading 2 books a week and write me some reports. And she was actually she didn't even know how to read. So she would pretend she was editing those reports. But she motivated them, put her foot down, and now these men are just successful, smart. But it came down to me, I believe, is from the tough mom, tough love, that she wasn't going to allow them to have the same life that she was having. So I admire this mother and woman who raised these wonderful boys.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's that's a great man, obviously, and behind every great man, as they say, there's a great woman, right? In this case, his mom. Anybody else wants to add anything to that question, or add your own particular person that you may have that you may want to honor today?
I will, if you will have me.
Go ahead.
I had the opportunity to invite Joe to a meeting in 2008, and I called a number that I believed belonged to her, and she answered the phone and was very gracious, and came up to Tallahassee from Miami, where she was living. And I drove around in my car, and she was very down to earth. And I remember asking her, what should I call you? Because I've got the U.S. Attorney General in my car. And she said, my name is Janet. Just very matter of fact, very humble. And I really didn't want to disrespect her, but I could not bring myself to call Janet Reno Janet. And she said, I'm not a general. You don't call me general. So I was very impressed with her humility. So that's somebody I think that most people know. And then on a local level, you may know the Rivers team, Jean and Rebecca Rivers. They have a huge real estate conglomerate, and they are a great rags to riches story. They are also very humble, great business people. They came to Tallahassee from Miami with a moving van and a couple of dollars, and now they have hundreds of realtors working for them. They're very well respected and ethical business people. And I tell Rebecca any chance I can that I always try to emulate her.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Any of the other panelists that would like to address that question? Is there somebody in history, a woman in history, or in your family, or that went through your life, maybe that made a difference and you admire, and why?
David, yo quisiera la Malinche, and I can speak in both languages if you want. La Malinche is somebody that we never recognized, but he made a huge impact in our history. She's everybody's mestizos, or every mestizo's mom. La Malinche fue la mujer que tuvo que aprender a hablar español para poderse comunicar con nuestros conquistadores. And then it has La Malinche, a negative connotation in our communities because we all believe that she was a traitor, pero no era más que una mujer muy inteligente, y por ser precisamente una mujer muy inteligente que fue quien aprendió a comunicarse con ellos, she was like kind of negotiator. She negotiated, and she was the key person in connecting the Spanish with our ancestors in Mexico, and then after that we have a long history, right? And what I just admire, I want to acknowledge that sometimes is we're not doing what we're supposed to do to acknowledge the leaders, especially females, not only males, but females leaders. And when somebody asks students like, can you name an important figure in the history? Then we all go blank. And this is because they can probably recognize who in the history of the United States, Cesar Chavez, and they may recognize Pancho Villa from the older times. But there is not really a lot of work done in recognizing our males and females, our role models, and our ancestors who made our life easier. And I think that just by the case of La Malinche, that she was an exceptional woman, and instead of being acknowledged as this huge and important person in our history, we all just give her back to her because she was a traitor and she facilitated the invasions and the conquest, the conquistadores. So I just wanted to bring that up because I think that these kind of forums like today, it can help to do our job in recognizing those who are making history and those who are helping our communities.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with that. And yeah, I put the link from Wikipedia on La Malinche for those of you that do not know who she was. Very well-known historical figure in the Mexican culture, obviously, and like Dr. Chapa said, very instrumental in the communications between the Spaniards and the Indians, because she spoke the language. She had, like you said, she had to learn the language, and then she became an interpreter, advisor, and I also heard the story about, I think she was married to one of those conquistador guys eventually, right? I'm not really sure about that.
She was the first to give birth to a mestizo.
Got it. Yes.
She fell in love with some of the Spanish.
So that's where all the mestizos come from, in a sense, from the Mexican side of the house, and including myself, obviously. Thank you very much, Dr. Chapa. Anybody else from the panel want to address that particular question?
Yes, I would like to.
Theola, go ahead.
Yes. I would like to compliment my mentor, who was my mother. My mother was, she started out with a 6th grade education, and she educated herself. She opened her own business, a beauty shop that she had for 18 years as a cosmetologist. And then she went on to open her own private bus service that the public schools used because they needed buses. She then went on to get her, when it made it possible that you could go back to school to get your high school diploma. She went back to school, got her high school diploma, and then she went on to college. She was a senior citizen when she enrolled in college. And then she went on to become the president of the Foster Parent Association here in Mobile, a well-respected pillar in the society. And she was all over the place, speaking, singing, telling her story. And I think I followed in her footsteps because she loved the arts and she was very creative too. So I saw that my mother could do it. I said, hey, I could do it too.
That's right. Wonderful. Thank you very much. If there's no other panelist that wants to cover that question, we'll move on to the other questions. Is that okay? One last chance for anybody from the panel that wants to cover that initial question about a person in history that you may want to acknowledge and or that you admire, and why.
I will say Princess Diana. She had a horrible tragedy on the way that she passed away, but she changed a lot of people's lives and how royalty was seeing people before her, and how her bravery really, set the tone for the next ones to come. That's simple.
That is true, and her kids are following in her footsteps as far as the philanthropy that they do and the charitable mindset, and I think especially the young man that moved over to the U.S. Shows to be a very humble young man, considering he's a prince.
Right.
You know what I mean, and you can show it, and you can see it in his demeanor and the way he acts, what he does, his service to the military, and all those things. And I'm sure the other son also, but obviously he has to be more reserved because he is the king in waiting. But I'm sure, and he has shown it also, that they both care deeply about helping the unfortunate, the needy throughout the world. So yeah, most definitely. Princess Diana, a great woman. Last call.
I already participate, but if nobody else wants to jump in, I have one new example of a Latina and that I admire, and that's Celia Cruz. Celia Cruz was the first female to come to the United States and have a huge impact in the music and the film industry in the United States. And not only that, she was very talented, but in addition to that, she always showed herself as she was. And I think that for the self-esteem of the Latinas, that speaks a lot. We're now in a new trend where everybody's, having this identification with this real ideal body image that doesn't really exist, and everybody's into changing their appearance and always wanted to look different. And Celia Cruz never changed. She never had any surgery, or she never changed her appearance except for, you know, the hair, that it was part of her identity. And so I think that there are different aspects that we can always admire from her. So I just wanted to bring her up because I think that nobody knows a lot about her background and the huge impact she made as the first interpreter o the same singer, cantante que cantó en español y que tuvo muchísimo éxito en los años 70.
Right.
Antes de que tuviéramos a Gloria Estefan, antes de que tuviéramos a Shakira, tuvimos a Celia Cruz.
Exactly. Yes. Celia Cruz, I think, is in the 50s almost, I believe. She has been a star, or was a star, up until her death. So yeah, thank you very much for doing for that, Dr. Chapa. Okay, let's move on to the second set, which had to do with leadership. I want to read a couple of things, and I'll put the link in there also. I was doing some research about women in leadership position and the statistics. Did you know that in the U.S., women represent 40% of the workforce and 40% of families, and in 40% of families, women are the primary or sole breadwinner. So 40% of the families in the U.S., women are the primary breadwinner. Companies in the top quarter for gender diversity are 15% more likely to outperform competition. I don't know where that one came from, but I guess what they're saying is where there's diversity in gender, women in leadership positions and key positions within the company, they're 15% more likely to outperform the competition. My goodness, that's a very, very important factor there. It has been reported that women control 70% of household spending, or 12 trillion in developed countries around the world. It also says here that growth in women-owned businesses has outpaced the overall increase in new businesses by 1.5 times. So women in leadership, I know that we still have a long way to go, but that some of these statistics show when they're given the opportunity, they outperform in many ways the guys. And I think that's a fact too, if not being a statistician, in many of the companies that I know, women are given the proper positions and leadership positions and respect that they deserve. Those companies are normally successful companies. And some of the questions that I asked in here, I'm going to start with Dr. Brown. How can women support other women in their organizations? Dr. Brown.
Thank you for that question. How can women support other women? Well, one of the things that I have learned is that we have to be very confident in who we are and respect the women that are around us. I believe that a lot of times women in every field that you can name have been placed in a position, if they don't understand who they are, have been placed in a position where sometimes they feel that it's always a competition, right? Not just a competition against the men, but also competition against women. And so when we recognize our own understanding who we are and what we bring to the table, and then understanding and respecting what other women bring to the table, I think that is the greatest, thing that we can have and do for one another as women, is to support one another, to embrace one another, to acknowledge one another's strengths. And if there are things that other women aren't doing so well, that we can step up and provide that support, because at some time we're going to need that same support. And hopefully we can get it from our sisters, right? We're all in the same boat. I have been in the military. I had a lot of great support from women, but I also had some instances where I didn't have great support from women. And it came down to there's only one spot for a female, in this position, and I want it to be me. And so when we get put in those positions, I think it causes us to kind of reach out and push other women away. But if we just embrace one another and recognize that we're all here to do, you know, a job, and we don't have to be catty, we don't have to be jealous or envious, we can embrace one another. I think it would do so much more. It'd be a great benefit for the entire organization and for the sanctity of sisterhood as well, when we support one another and embrace.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brown. Amy, would you like to add on to that, or would you like to ask or cover any of the other questions on leadership that we spoke about or that we sent out? I know you as a company owner, obviously, in such a leadership position, you may have some good input on this. Amy Williamson?
Yeah, can you hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, well, based on my experience, like I said, I work in this aerospace industry that's mainly men that I work with. You know, as we know, women face a double standard that men don't. And what I can advise to other women is, you know, to encourage is to believe in themselves. That, you know, that we have that special talent, the knowledge, and the patience, I guess, that we men, mostly men, don't have. And like, you know, this is based on my experiences. I work with lots of CEOs in the airlines. You know, I always encourage women to believe in yourself. And just, you know, if I want to make sure that all our voices heard, our ideas. Because, you know, I'll give an example. I was told by one of this, I met this guy, he owned probably about 10 franchise of Whataburger and stuff. And he told me, he said, you know, I need the ladder to success is very lonely, and make sure you're ready for that. And, you know, I know what he meant for that. Maybe he want me to quit or something, but, you know, for me, it's a challenge, and I want other women to do the same. That we encounter that, you know, double-faced standard all the time because we think that we are not capable of what they're doing. So, you know, I want every woman to believe in themselves, that if they can do it, we can do it. And, you know, for me, it's one woman's win is a win for all women.
Ah, wonderful. Yes. Maybe since I got you over here on this one, when you started your career, did you ever imagine that you would have a leadership or ownership role in the particular position or job or company that you have? Did you ever, was that your dream?
You know what? I think no, maybe no or yes, but I have, since I was a child, I have this instinct inside me that, you know, that I can influence other people. I'm not dreaming to be a leader, but I want to influence. I want to encourage other women, other people, and I always do that until when I ran the Filipino American Association in Mobile. That's my one mission. That, you know, I want to influence. I want you guys to you know, we need to win, and you know that failure is not an option. That, you know, fear is part of success. So being I guess that's that kind of talent or what I'm gonna call that ability that probably lead me to become a leader right now, running over 350 employees across overseas and our country. And for me, it's a talent that I developed because of the passion and the what I'm gonna call it, the passion that I want, the thing that I love to do to other people, and that makes me become a leader. And I don't, like I told all my employees, don't call me a boss or don't call me a leader or something. I want you guys to, you know, I want to be there for you, and I want you to be comfortable with me when when you need me and you need some advice and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't dream of that, but I think that's part of God's plan for us, for me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Amy. By the way, we cannot see you.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's so irresponsible of me. I left my charger in the office.
That's fine. That's fine. Paola and Lauren, you all chose that question also. Paola, what's your answer? Unmute yourself.
Okay, so we're talking about leadership. We're talking about
This thing, when you started your career, did you ever imagine that you would have a leadership or ownership position in the particular, in this instance, company?
Not at all. Actually, it was quite a surprise to me. I think one of the things that my dad told me when he was alive is, in order for you to gain respect of your coworkers, of your clients, of your community, of your friends, family, you have to work hard. Your work ethic would basically is gonna be kind of a domino effect. It's just gonna reflect on everybody, and everybody's gonna be like, okay, you know what? She's doing something and she's a go-getter. So I love what I do. I'm very passionate about real estate, and I'm blessed to call this quote unquote my job. And I don't feel it's a job because I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. And I think that's another thing that people can tell and I'm not talking just about me, I'm talking about in general. We can tell when someone is passionate about their careers. And that also is a value add. And in my case, even before I got into real estate, I was in defense contracting world, working in Iraq, working in Kabul, Afghanistan. And the same thing, it doesn't matter what industry, if you're passionate about what you do, you work hard at it, people can tell and people see the potential in you. And the same thing is happening now. Gerardo Rodriguez is now my partner. He made me partner of his amazing brokerage that is growing like crazy in Alabama. And we see the growth as well in Florida, and we're going to see it everywhere that he puts his hand on. But he saw the potential in me. She's a hard worker, and she loves what she does, and she's very knowledgeable, and I love helping people. And now it's not only helping the community, it's helping and hopefully changing for the better real estate careers now. So yes, I never thought I was going to be where I am. But I think doing your thing every day, and you do it well, and you do it with willingness to help others, I think other counts will come in place.
I agree with that. Lauren, what would you like to add on to that one? You also chose that question. When you started your career, did you ever think you were going to be in the leadership position, ownership position per se, as you are in the company that you work with or that you own?
Well, my story is a little bit different. Actually, I was in the medical field for over a decade, but health issues brought me to a different path. And so I always wanted to have my own business. I just never thought that I would have it in accounting. And I'm always thinking of different ideas. I also have another LLC called Kaler Business Solutions. I just got my license last year for life insurance and financial planning. And I'm already thinking of other businesses that I hope to open this year. So
the entrepreneur mind.
Yes, I have become an entrepreneur, and I really love it and enjoy it. And then last year I opened 2 additional offices with Patriot Tax Solutions and providing jobs to other women. Just makes me feel really proud that I'm doing something, and being able to offer it in Spanish and English services, that is really great. But leadership, I think you can't do this alone. You need a support system, you need mentors, and we need one another, and we can learn from each other. And if we hear, especially us women, if we hear, negative things about our businesses or our leadership, I think instead of putting each other down, we should one-on-one, have a talk and say, hey, you know, I heard this. How about we talk about some suggestions on improving your services? So I think supporting each other and the good and the bad and coming up with better ideas, and that's very important. But leadership is not something you do alone. You need a support system.
That is a great trait that is a very well-known trait of a leader, the one that knows he cannot do it alone, by the way. I also want to congratulate you, Lauren. I've known you for several years now, and I know that Hurricane Michael was not nice to you. It destroyed your home. I saw that. Paola, you remember us going to, serve the people of that were hurt by Hurricane Michael, and I know Lauren was one of those that lost her house completely. I mean, it was one brick. I'm sorry to remind you of that, but I remember the picture, seeing one brick of your foundation of your home.
Yes, I lived in Mexico Beach, and it just took everything, whatever my back then 3.5-year-old and I had on, that's in my car, that's what we had left. And also it took the business. I had just started this business when I came here in 2015. And of course, my clients lost their businesses as well. So I lost both the business and my personal items. But I've been blessed. I put everything in God's hands. And thanks to a great support system, once again, I'm back on my feet. The business just grew a lot more than what I had. And just in December, I'm back at the beach, bought a house.
Oh, really? Back at Mexico Beach?
Yes. Yes, we are back in Mexico Beach, and I'm really happy and excited. And like I said, I opened 2 more offices. So God is good. God is good, and all the people that surround me that are positive.
Wonderful, wonderful. Staying with the leadership piece here. Well, it's still on the leadership side, but I want to ask a couple of you, because you guys are all very busy, right? And I know what busy is too, but there's got to be a balance, right? So how do you balance career, personal life, passions, hobbies? Is there such a thing? Balance. Is it important?
No, there is no balance. There is no balance.
Go ahead.
No.
How do you guys balance it?
Craziness, just craziness.
Give some advice to that person out there that is getting overwhelmed because of the job, position, home, hobbies type of thing, and she has to balance all of this and she can't. Well, how do you guys do that? Anyone?
I will tell you this, David. This is the craziest time for me because I am planning a wedding. I'm a realtor. I'm a co-owner. I sell in 2 other states. At some point, we need that support system and that partner that will tell us, okay, you're getting too absorbed. Walk away. You need your friends and family to tell you, okay, we're getting you out of the house. You are not going to be touching that laptop for the next 2-3 hours or until the next day. So is there such a thing as balance? I think I'm learning this because, I'm doing a whole lot of things. So I think it comes to time management. It is extremely difficult. And sometimes I forget about that balance. But if we try, like my new rule now is Sundays, I am not working. I don't care if someone is near the house tomorrow. You have to set boundaries. And to set boundaries, you're doing it for yourself, for your family, for everybody else, but also to recharge those batteries so you can serve your clients better. Because if you keep going, then you're going to burn out, and people are going to be able to tell that as well. So I believe there is such a thing as balance if we remind ourselves of it, and if we set boundaries and take some time off.
So you gotta seek that balance. You gotta consciously be aware that you may not be balanced, or it's always good to have somebody that can remind you, like your honey bunny, huh? Your hubby or your friend, right? Setting boundaries, like Danielle was saying, is very important. Anybody else wants to address that? How do you do it? How do you make it happen? Because you guys obviously are doing it.
So for me, as a Christian, I I keep the fourth commandment, which is keeping the Sabbath day. It's a day of rest. So I feel like right there, God is making me rest for 24 hours. And it's not about work or chores, errands for 24 hours. It is about nature, catching up with those you haven't had time during the week to check up on them, going to church, enjoying family and friends. So right there alone, keeping the fourth commandment just makes me have that day of rest to rejuvenate body, mind, and soul. And like Paula said, if we are not resting, we're not balanced, our clients could see that. They could see us tired or our work is not as efficient. And sometimes clients do pressure us. They'll give me attitude like, why aren't you open on Saturday or Sunday? Or why aren't you open, at 7 in the morning? And I'm clear with them. I am straight up. I tell them, you know what, I'm sorry, but I also need to take care of myself. I exercise, I got a family. I got other things to do too. And I'm straight up. I tell them, I'm sorry, I need time for my personal life as well.
Wonderful, wonderful advice. Anybody else on that topic before we transition to the future?
Yes, I wanted to say, we're talking about work, and I may be just a little bit different, but sometimes family can be work, right? I have six kids, and various ages, but and then I'm a caregiver for my mother. So it's not so much all the time the work or the job or the employment that's bringing money into the house, but you still, especially as a mother, as a caregiver, as a homemaker, as a wife, all of those things that we embody as women, right? There has, and I might mess somebody up, but you still have to get away from even your kids sometimes, right? And your family sometimes, and just, kind of woosah, right? And take that minute to just think about, okay, what do I have to do next week? Because I can imagine the schedules that are out there and how full they are. And so just to take some time and just kind of step back and take a nice hot bubble bath and play some jazz, right? And drink a little wine. I'm telling you, I can get in my tub and somebody is knocking on my bathroom door, Mom. And so we have to really purposely sometimes, and I do mental health classes all the time. Sometimes you have to take your shoes off and just stand in the grass and wiggle your toes and ground yourself and make sure that you know that you are still here. And then for some of us who may have these big high-powered jobs and we're moving 10,000 miles a minute, and people can tell us, how great and wonderful we are. And sometimes we'll get caught up in that we're great and we're wonderful. And we forget that we're still human, and we have to take that time, because if we don't do that purposely, your body will make you. And we'll find ourselves being extremely tired, fatigued, mental fugue, and things like that. Enjoy life, because you only have one. And when you're done, believe me, I have seen when you're done, that position is going to be filled by somebody, and the only people who are going to remember you long term is your family.
That's right.
And so jobs come and go, employment comes and goes. I thank you, Lauren, for not being open 24/7, 365, because when you're not there, they're going to find another organization to patronize, right? But your family is always going to remember you. And so I think that we have to purposely, on purpose, for purpose, take that time to care for ourselves. It's so important. And in years past, we as women have not done that, have not had the opportunity to do that. And so now that we can, we have to force that. So please, self-care is critical.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
and Karen, I like to add to that. I had to learn what you said the hard way. I used to be a workaholic. and then running around as a single mom to all the kids' extracurricular activities, a parent conference, all that comes with being a parent, and volunteering at the church, volunteering at the school, just go, 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 until I came down with MS and fibromyalgia. And my whole life turned around. Once again, I lost everything. I couldn't work, lost my career. And this is when I learned, you know what? Money is worthless without your health. So I changed my lifestyle, that spend a lot of time in nature, exercise, trying to eat healthy. And this is the only reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing now, because through God and changing my lifestyle and not putting work as a priority is what the reason why I'm healthier and I could be here. So balance. I agree with you, Karen.
Very important, very important. One last comment on that one, and then we'll move on to the help in the future. Dr. Zimmerman, if you would forgive me, and also Patricia, to give me at least 5 to 10 more minutes to finish the subject on helping build a future, and then we'll continue with the flow that we established. Patricia Buitron will come up for 5 minutes and tell us about her company, and then Dr. Zimmerman. Is that okay? Patricia and Dr. Zimmerman?
Perfect.
Yes, in the chat, Dr. Zimmerman, you're okay with that? Hello?
Sorry, yes, we're good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate that, because I really want to go into the next subject, because I think it's one of the most important ones also. And we talked about helping build the future. I get perturbed sometimes when I give presentations or talk to people, and the statement, children or the youth are our future, is spoken to me. Because it's a duh statement, right? Yes, they are, obviously. My question is always back to companies, organizations, and entities, and individuals that say that. I said, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to help that kid, that youth, that young adult have a future that is going to make a difference in his life, number one, hopefully in the life of the community, in the life of the nation. And so let's talk about that. I placed a couple of links into the chat for the organization called liveyourdreams.org. And so I was doing some research on mentoring and things that are entities that are doing some great stuff for women. This is one of them. One of the ones that I found is the Seroptimist Internationals of America, I believe, is the organization behind this. Check it out when you get a chance. There's a couple of video links there, and there's one there. It's just called Call to Action, and then the other one is called Dream It, Be It, Career Support for Girls video link. Check that one out, and then the following items that are below that is a research paper by them on why they created that program called Dream It, Be It. And because it's a research paper that was based on, interviewing girls, hundreds of girls in 22 countries on what they needed to succeed. And the answer was they need education, they need caring mentors, and they need financial help, obviously, because we all need money to make things happen, right? Sometimes, business-wise especially. But caring mentors is something that pops up in every research that is done by entities, including the Studer Institute in Pensacola, when they asked the community, what is necessary for us to do here to increase the number of entrepreneurs, or the success rates for entrepreneurs, and mentorship was one of the big ones, obviously. So let's go to that, because holding the future is mentorship is going to be very important, right? Mentoring people to become better. Dr. Brown, did you have a mentor at any point in your youth or when you first started your career job? And if yes, how important was that person to your current success?
Absolutely. So like I said previously, I spent 26 years in the Army. So having a mentor may seem counterintuitive in the military, because everybody says that they're mentors in the military. But I truly had, I was so blessed. I was surrounded by women. I was medical, I was a combat medic. I was surrounded by women who wanted to see women succeed. I saw in the chat that there's one who was in the Navy. And so you know how difficult it is for women in the military. And I'm talking all branches. So I could write books on the craziness that happened in the military. But I was surrounded, I was so blessed to be surrounded by women who wanted to see me succeed. Because of the things that they had dealt with and gone through in their own careers, they did not want to see not just myself, but other women, other females go through those same trials and tribulations. And so I had great mentorship, which allowed me to understand that I had to pay that forward and provide my own mentorship for soldiers or junior soldiers that were coming behind me. And not only, and I'm not trying to brag, but I felt that not only do I have to provide mentorship for these female soldiers that are coming along, but also to the males, because we have to teach them what not to do in dealing with females. And so I mentored men in terms of, these are the things that you don't say, these are the things.
Did we freeze up? Hello, hello. Are we there? Test, test, test.
Of making that and that encouragement to keep moving, keep going. You don't have to give up. And those instances that we get caught up in, it's for us to talk about and say, hey, I went down that road. That might not be the road that you need to go down. And so I think mentorship is just really, really critical. I think it's right up there with achieving that ultimate goal. I think, and I truly believe that, and I think someone said it earlier, if if one woman succeeds, then we all succeed, because that's that model that says, oh, wow, it can be done. I can achieve that because someone has already paved the way. So I 100% believe in mentorship.
Yeah, we lost reception for a little bit, but I think everybody got your point. It came back up. Anybody else wants to add anything on that? Mentorship and the importance of it in your career?
We have a mentorship program at the Center of Florida State University, and it has been a key success on the professional development of the graduates, of the students. I think that is great to have a mentor and also be a mentee, as Karen was mentioning. We always need a mentor, no matter where you are in your career. But yes, the youth are in need. Now, what is it that we can accomplish with a mentorship? Well, what we're doing in our program, because every mentorship program, they may have different mission and visions, but what we do is by matching someone in the industry, in the profession, with a student who is a senior or someone at the master level. So they become the mentor in helping them in understanding the challenges and the trends that they may have in the industry, to learn how to navigate the job interview, how to prepare and get ready for, in terms of your vita, in terms of interviewing. So there are a lot of different things we have across different ethnic segments in the United States. We have first generation of everything, even people graduating from college, or even individuals who are selecting a new career. They have no one in their family or no one close to their network that may be in a position where they want to be. So finding places where we can help them by matching them with somebody that they can help them will change their life. I mean, everything is just it's like navigating without a map or having a GPS helping you to really make the right decision so you can be successful in the long term. So I totally agree. I think that mentorship, depending on the mission, they're all needed. And if you can have, or you are in a position to be part of one of these groups where you can be a mentor, you can begin in high school. You don't need to wait until college, but you can later do it in the college and just helping somebody else to navigate so they don't have to go into trial and error that possibly like some of us did. I think that is what you're gonna get back from that experience is just worth it. I mean, no tiene precio lo que pueden recibir en recompensa por ayudar a una persona más joven y a facilitarles el camino.
Excelente, doctora, excelente. Muy buena su contestación en la respuesta. ¿Alguien más? Anybody else would like to add to that one before I ask the final two questions?
This is Theola.
Go ahead, Theola.
I would like, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am a mentor and have been with the Boys and Girls Club, with the Rape Crisis Center, Strickland Youth Center, and as an artist in resident for the state of Alabama. My specialty is career education from a godly perspective. And I teach the children or anyone who wants to know everything that I know about any position that I've ever worked. And I have worked many. And the purpose for working so many positions is I wanted to know the business from ground floor. What is it? What level they call that?
Ground zero.
Ground zero on up. And that's what I've done with more than 40 different positions. I know people say 40 different positions. How long were you on one job? But all of the things that I have learned, I incorporate them into everything that I do. So I'm still doing all of these positions, and I teach others how they can do it too. So I think that's the basics of being a good mentor, is teaching what you know and have experience to others.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask the last two questions that I had in the Helping Build the Future, and any of you can answer either one to close out this session, and then we'll come back with Patricia Buitron, okay? The last two questions that I had there was, what advice would you give to your 25-year-old self? I know for those of you that are 26, it's only been a year.
All of us.
What advice would you give to your 25-year-old self? And the other question was, what advice would you give to young women entering your profession? So either of those two, the panelists, if you want to answer any of those two, come on up.
Raising my hand.
I have one line that I would say to myself.
Go ahead.
I have just one sentence. One sentence I would say to my 25-year-old self, and that would be, do not procrastinate. Finish whatever you start. Do the finish.
Good advice. Doctora Chapa?
I think that since we're celebrating the Mes de la Mujer, I think that I will tell myself and anyone who is 25 years old that we need to constantly advocate for gender equality. We need to speak out. Tenemos que luchar por equidad de género. If we can just do simple things like attending a meeting and we see that we're the only woman in the room, say, you know, I think that we need more female representation here. Or let's say that we're recruiting new talent for whatever committee we're creating. Just if we're not the only ones, if we're not the ones advocating for ourselves, nobody else is going to do it. So always make sure that it's equidad de género and representation. I didn't know that, nobody told me, and I was not paying attention to that. And I think that somebody must always be paying attention to that.
Good input. Good input. Anybody else on those two? Either one of those two?
I think fear is a factor. Big. Well, I mean, we're not even realizing sometimes we are driven by fear and we don't even know that we are fearful. You know, sometimes fear can be, I mean, we can be angry and we don't even understand when we're angry, when we're fearful of something. I think what I would do, I would say to my 25-year-old self is, because of that fear, at first, for many years before I jumped into real estate, I was fearful. You gotta believe yourself more, Paola. That's what I will say now. You can step out of your comfort zone, because staying in that comfort zone, you don't grow as a person. You don't grow as a professional. You got to take that leap of faith. And if I would have heard that before or much younger in my life, I probably would have achieved more. And
yeah, fear is a big thing. Fear is a big thing when, you know, going into or deciding your career, going into business. You bet. You bet.
Right, you have to put that fear aside and do your thing.
Amy Williamson, what would you tell your 25-year-old self, or what advice would you have for a young person going into your profession? Amy.
Like others panel, they say procrastination. I am so bad on that until I have my kids. Now I have to tell my kids, because time is money. And that's the only thing that we cannot bring back. So do what you need to do now and don't wait. Just like I read this book, the Nike, they have this, just do it. If you think that, just do it right away. Because if you wait and wasted another time, and that's my advice that I want. And until now, I'm still dealing that. That's why I only get like probably 2 hours sleep at night, because I procrastinate most of the time. And I'm still advising myself until now. But yes, I always have that, just do it now, because time is like water, right? The flow is gone. We cannot bring those back.
You cannot bring it back, that's for sure. Thank you very much on that one. Anybody else from the panel on either one of those two to close this session out? Elizabeth? Anybody?
Patricia.
Who's that? Go ahead. What would you tell what advice would you give to your 25-year-old self, Elizabeth? Or what advice would you give to a young woman entering your profession? So you're talking to that young woman now.
Yeah, stick it out. Stay with the game. Don't give up. You know, work hard when you're young. Stay in school. Even if it means taking out loans. I know a lot of young women who say, I don't want loans, so I don't want to get a master's or an advanced degree. You know, you can pay the loan off if you get that job and stick with it. And then when you do stick with it, and I think all the co-panelists would agree, there's nothing like working for yourself. It's risky, but the time to do it is when you're young, when you don't have a mortgage and you don't have kids. That's the time to do it. And you know, it's very easy to get into a position and then 10, 20, 30 years later say, I think I want to go out on my own. The time to do that is when you're young and you can take those risks. So I would say take risks, stick it out, stay in school, and just do it.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
And do not procrastinate.
Everything
right?
Everybody already said.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
for sure.
Those are great pieces of advice. I think all of us at some point or another have thought about doing something and said, I'll hold on or I'll wait. And then time goes by and you never do it.
Yeah.
And or afraid to do something that you know you could do, but you know, there's a little doubt there always, right? All right, ladies, I want to thank you for the great input, the great advice, and following me around in the different questions. I think it was very, very good. What we're going to do now is we're going to transition to our next segment. I hope everybody will stay and eventually, obviously, hear the great words of Dr. Zimmerman. But I'm going to give Patricia. Patricia, I have you as Angela. So are you a Angela Patricia or a Patricia
I'm
Angela?
Angela Patricia, but no one in the world they need Patricia. Angela,
Well,
excuse me.
I'm gonna
I'm
give
just
Angela Patricia Buitron
Oh, no. It sounds like what?
a 5-minute segment to tell us a little bit more about the great stuff that she does throughout the state, but more importantly, obviously in the Jacksonville area. So this is your time to tell us all about you, Patricia.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Patricia Witron. As I told you, I have a channel, or more than a channel, it's like a media complex, weird system for this area because there is nothing else than we do here in Jacksonville and actually in the North Florida. So we do many things. We work with the community. We have to answer. We are the call center for every single question from Hispanic community. But we also do news every single day in 9. And also events. We have a big festival here. So there are many things around what we do. And it's just because there is no one else doing nothing. So we have to do it. And sorry, I need to tell this in Spanish because my community is just Hispanic. Nosotros hacemos noticias, pero también hacemos servicio comunitario y somos como el call center de todas las necesidades del norte de la Florida. Y eso es un reto muy grande porque sé que todo no lo hacemos perfecto, todo no es como debería ser, porque obviamente tenemos que abarcar muchas cosas y yo sé que cometemos muchos errores todos los días, pero siento que esa posibilidad que tenemos de meternos en la vida y en las familias de las personas aquí en North Florida, pues también incluye un compromiso, sobre todo porque obviamente yo soy mujer, soy something like kind of an influencer here. So people follow me because they have to. I'm the only choice they have. So a veces es un poquito complicado como mujer tener un estereotipo alrededor. Y about the last question, about to be young, I don't miss anything about being young because I used to be like, yeah, nothing. It's like I was so afraid about everything in my mind. I was ugly. I was like too short to be a host on a news show. Many things in my head. Y cosas como que ahora yo pienso, yo quisiera ser Patricia de 25 en mi cuerpo, pero con mi mente como tiene ahora que tengo 45 y ya no me importa y no tengo miedo de nada y todo me viene bien y mal si yo sé que estoy haciendo, I'm doing my best or I try to do my best. Entonces.
So you don't want to go back to 25? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no. No. There are many things you learn and you are like more like a secure person, like people skills and many things that you just achieve with years and years of experiences, especially bad experiences. So yo estoy muy feliz de mis 45, no quiero tener ni uno menos. No tengo ya miedo y pienso que todas las mujeres que emprendemos porque quisieron algunas o porque tienen ese espíritu de empresarias, business women y todo eso, yo no fui ese caso. A mí me echaron de mi trabajo como presentadora en Univisión y pues yo no tenía otra cosa y tenía que comer, así que tuve que crear mi propia empresa, pero no fue que yo, wow, la business girl y yo voy a tener una empresa, no tenía nada que hacer, tenía que comer y pues sencillamente creé mi forma. Y eso fue muy duro porque yo aparte di a luz una bebé a los 41 años. Entonces tenía que empezar amamantando bebé y amaneciendo, aprendiendo a manejar las luces, los sistemas, porque no tenía plata para contratar la gente que ahora tengo. Entonces eso fue, wow, fuerte. y me arrugué muchísimo, pero estoy feliz de haberlo logrado. Y esa es mi experiencia que quiero compartir con ustedes.
Excelente, excelente. Thank you very much for that. So the tough times are the ones that caused you to become an entrepreneur because you said you lost a position, a job with Univision, was it? Univision?
That's why. That's why.
You ended up in.
They fired me because Univision used to be here in Jacksonville for the very first time in 2017, 18 maybe, but it didn't work for reason that I don't know. But anyway, they told us you are free to get back to Miami or do whatever you want, but this is the end. I was like, oh, okay. So we have to eat. We have a house now. So we need to do something. So I start my own business, not because I wanted, not because I used to be a business person. I'm not, I'm just learning right now, but this is what I love to do. So I had to. So my whole life, I live in Spanish. I am learning in English right now, actually, because I used to work in Univision in Miami, before that in Costa Rica. So I came here with Univision and I said like, I don't speak English at all. So what I said, wow. So 6 years ago and with a baby, a newborn baby, it has been hard to me, but I'm trying. And now I'm so proud of my business. We have like 10 employees right now. So we're trying also to help the community. People follow us more for that community job, better than news, because news, everyone can like read and write and everything in English, and it's enough for this city. We just, I don't know how many Hispanics we have right now, but we are not more than the 10% of the population. Right. So I am sure they speak English and they can do it in English, but our community job has been like the key of our success. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy to share my experience with you. And I am sure we can do everything we want. But
I'm empowered.
yeah, we can do everything. But there are many things in our head, like running and running. And yeah, we have to fight with that. We have to fight with those voices on our head.
Garbage.
And,
Pure garbage.
Understand. Thank you very much, Patricia. Appreciate it. And continue persevering. You're doing a great job over there. Make sure your website and everything that you're doing gets in the chat. Ponlo en el chat para que toda la gente sepa de tu show. And I'm sure, you know, in the future, if you want to interview any of these wonderful ladies, you can do so.
For sure.
Okay?
Yes. And you know
All
what?
right.
It will be my pleasure, for sure.
Thank you very much. We're going to come back now to our main speaker, Dr. Jennifer Zimmerman. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Zimmerman. She's going to speak for about 15 minutes. We're going to let her talk about it as much as she wants to, for as long as she wants to. Dr. Jennifer Zimmerman is a pediatrician in Northwest Florida who has been providing care to the underserved population for over 20 years. She is a graduate of the University of the Philippines with a BS in zoology. He's also a doctor of medicine from another university, obviously. She trained at Long Island Jewish Medical Center in New York. And in 2018, she was a congressional candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives, Florida District 1, as a strong advocate for healthcare for all. She was the CEO of Kids Care Pediatrics for over 17 years before joining a multi-specialty group whose mission is to make healthcare within reach for everyone in the community. As an adjunct professor for Florida State University, she mentors medical students and physicians assistants as they pursue careers in community healthcare. Dr. Z was the first female to ever run as a major political candidate in Northwest Florida, for the U.S. congressional seat that I just mentioned. She is also the first Asian, an immigrant of Filipino heritage, to run, and also she is a proud mother of 3 children. She is married to Jay, who is a Jewish American from New York, and her second son is now training to be an orthopedic doctor with the U.S. Army. I give you Dr. Jennifer Zimmerman, our main speaker, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Thank you, David, for the wonderful introduction. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Buenos tardes. So those are the the words that I can speak from both Tagalog and English and a little bit of Spanish. Habla español pero un poquito, David. So thank you very much. It is an honor to be here tonight in the midst of all these esteemed women. When David told me about this opportunity, I immediately said yes. Anytime there is an opportunity to speak about women and what we can do for our community and our country, I'm in. My story is a true testament to true grit and the pure what someone can do when you dream and you want your dream to come true. So let me start from the very beginning. So I was born in the Philippines as the eldest of 6 children. Before I became Dr. Z, I was technically called Jenny from the hood. I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. So as you can tell, growing up in a community where there wasn't any, much resources for someone like me who was a dreamer, I had to be resourceful. My father once told me, why be a doctor? That's such a long degree. You're just going to end up getting married one day. And guess what I said? Well, why can't I do all of the above? I was always called ambitious. I was also always called a troublemaker because I always questioned. Instead of saying, why me? I always said, why not? When I ran for Congress, people looked at me and said, what on earth are you thinking about? And I said, why not again? Why could we not break the glass ceiling? And when I did not win the congressional seat, I did not see it as a defeat. I saw it as an actual opportunity to pave the way to make more of that glass shatter in many pieces so that many more women can follow after me. And I think that's the greatest legacy and mentorship that I can tell you that I have succeeded in doing so. As of now, there are many more women who are running for positions. I am very proud to say that we paved the way and made people wake up and say to themselves, maybe there is another way. When I went to medical school, we had no money. It was through the sheer, it was through a scholarship that I got because of my father being a veteran of World War II. He was a prisoner of war. And when we asked him many years later, what on earth was he thinking and how did he survive? He said when the Japanese attacked the Philippines, he said he was never going to give up just like that. They were going to have to kill him before he gave up a piece of their land. That's why when I heard President Zelensky say, I don't need a ride, I need more ammunition, it reminded me of my father. And when I see all those fathers leaving, and there are some women who are also staying in Ukraine, I was once again, and when I say leaving, I'm sorry, I meant staying in Ukraine to fight for their freedom. It reminded me once again of the sacrifice that many men and women have done for our freedom. My son is now in the US Army, and so it makes me feel a little bit nervous. But I heard our esteemed other panelist here has been in the Army for many years. We have to be thankful for the sacrifices of these women who also fight alongside the men. The women in Ukraine are staying behind because they know they need these women to stay in the hospitals. Some of them are even taking up arms. So what's my point here? We must remember that sometimes our sacrifices don't have to be the big sacrifices that we have to make. In every day that we do, that we interact with everyone, we should always make sure that we show the best version of ourselves. Never ever settle to be just a second-rate version of someone else that they think you should be. You should always strive to be one of the leaders. And if you can't lead, be one of those who can work the leaders, who can work behind the leaders so that our dreams can be put to fruition. So let me tell you another story of a great woman that I know. My mother, who was told too that women do not go to school, because these were during the old times, and she lived in a very, in one of the islands in the Philippines. So what did she do? When I was in first grade, she went back to high school. She went to night school because women were not allowed, married women were not allowed to go to regular high school. So from first grade, she went to high school. She graduated with honors in high school and went to college. And by the time I was in 10th grade, she was a college graduate. And when she was ridiculed by everyone around her and said, "You're an older woman now and you have children, why even go back to school?" And she said, "Why not? Because no one should put a limit to what we can do as women." Throughout history, it's been proven that women can be as effective in effecting change. Look at what Rosa Parks did. Because she sat down on that bus, we were able to have a Barack Obama who ran for office. And because he ran for office, there are so many men and women of color now who are also running for office. And now we have the first Black woman who is in the second highest position of this land. There are so many things that would not have been possible had it not been for the sacrifices of all these women. Let me just tell you too, during this pandemic, no matter what we say, no matter whether you believe in science or not, who are in the forefront in the fight against this pandemic? The nurses and the doctors. As David said, there is a big portion of the workforce that are women, more so when you look at the nursing profession. And let me just add this, in California alone, 25% of the nurses are Filipinos. And if you count those who died first from the pandemic, most of them were the Filipino nurses who were at the forefront. I'd like to tip my hat and I'd like to give a shout out to all those frontliners who during the first wave, the second wave, whatever wave you say, actually put on their mask and were very brave in facing COVID head on. I was not only a pediatrician during this pandemic. Unfortunately, during the first wave, I contracted COVID when there was still no vaccination and there were no real medications that we could trust. And unfortunately, what is not being talked about right now is that I may have survived, but over the last year and a half, I have suffered from the long-lasting effects of COVID. But I'm thankful, I am blessed. I am not part of that statistic that says 800,000+ Americans have died. What is not being told is the story of those who survived and are still suffering for it. But we persist because we know that no matter what, we must show a brave front because people are looking up to us to be the nurturers, to be the ones who can multitask, to be the ones who move this nation forward alongside with the men. We are not asking to be above anyone else. All we're asking is equality, the ability to sit down at the table. Because if we are not on the table, as they say, we will be on the menu. We have to have a say in our future. So when you asked all these questions, David, I was so tempted to answer some of them. And if I may say so, I want to answer one of the questions. What will you say to a younger Jennifer Zimmerman? You go, girl. Don't let anyone dull your sparkle because you are about to do great things in life. You will show them. You will show them what a woman can do. When I started Kids Care Pediatrics, we had no money. My husband told me I was crazy, but I had faith and I had a dream. And I had a few dollars left in my savings. And I said, you know what, if I'm not going to do it now, when will I have the courage to do it? Even when we still had younger children, I said, let's do it now. Because I have this dream and I found this niche in the community. They needed a pediatrician who actually could spend time and care for these children who nobody else wanted to be in their practice. I saw mostly 80 to 90% of my practice was Medicaid. My children used to ask me, Mom, why aren't we rich? Why do you have to keep on seeing these children who you get paid only 32 cents to every dollar that everyone else makes? You know what I said? When I lay my head down at night, I have a happy face because somewhere during that day, I know I helped the child and I know I helped the family. And for over 17 years, that's what we did. And I'm so proud of that. So I tell everyone here who owns a business, don't let anyone tell you how you should run your business. You are the boss of your destiny. You can make the pathway. If there is no pathway, even if it's gravel, go for it, because no one else can take that dream away from you. I've always wanted to see children and families get the health care that they deserve. When we were growing up, there was no health insurance in the Philippines. There was no health insurance for our family. My parents struggled. So when my sister had a febrile seizure and looked like she almost was dying on that bed, we had to run, almost walk to the hospital. And from then on, and by the way, for all of you who know what this looks like, if you don't have insurance, you have to present proof of the ability to pay when you go to the emergency room, just like how it is for many of our of the poorer countries right now. And if you have no money, your relative or your loved one will die right there at the parking lot of the emergency room. It was then that I dreamt of a place one day where everyone will have equal access and no one, not one of your loved ones, should ever have to die or ever have to sell their soul so that you can be cured of an illness. No one has to pay $1,000 for a tube of insulin. I dream of a day when one day we could all be together and saying that enough is enough and that we will be the ones that control our future. It's not impossible. When I came here to Northwest Florida, I thought I was alone in my vision. But when I came to a town hall and I disagreed with what our representative was saying, I wanted him to understand what true healthcare, what the needs of the community were for true healthcare. It was an opportunity that I did not want to miss. And from there, what happened next? I discovered that I was not alone in that dream. I discovered that there was other people who shared that vision. And that's how I ended up running. I never thought that I would be a politician. I'm an immigrant. We're supposed to be the silent immigrants. You're never supposed to open your mouth. You're never supposed to say anything for fear of deportation, for fear that someone might look into your business, for fear that someone might say something. And guess what? That didn't stop me afterwards, because I said, when else can I have the voice to say something? And because I had the guts to say something, more voices followed afterwards. And sometimes when you just have that courage to step up to the plate, you will not realize how many you can influence. You'll never know what will come up from one courageous act. Lastly, I know we were all tired. I just want to say that when the same thing that I said when I joined the Women's March many years ago, as a woman, always think, who else is going to step up to the plate for our issues? Always say that this woman can. This woman can. Who else is going to advocate for children? This woman can. Who else is going to take care of us as women? We should step up to the plate with every opportunity. So let's say, si se puede. Kaya natin to. It's always possible. Let's try. Good evening, and thank you very much.
Dr. Zimmerman, thank you. Thank you very much for those powerful words. And you would have been a great, great representative. You're a great woman. You're a very caring woman, and obviously have gone through a lot of things in your past, in your career, in your life, and in the last couple of years, obviously with the pandemic. And maybe you should run again.
As I always said, David, I did not lose. The district lost an opportunity to send a powerful voice to Congress. But we can still do the great work that we do wherever God puts us. And I believe that I did not go to Congress because eventually, after we did not succeed in that, in that congressional run, the pandemic happened. Right. And I believe God put me in the clinic because I had a lot of children to take care of.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that's how he works. That is how he works. Thank you very much for speaking to us, for being our special guest, our main speaker. I want to thank all the other participants in the panel. Before we go away, I want to give the opportunity for Pamela and Mo, if you're there, to come up on the microphone and tell us a little bit about yourselves. Also, Sarah, who has joined us. Just a little 30 to 45 second elevator speech, if you don't mind, and then we're going to close it out with a couple of last words.
Okay,
Sarah,
can you guys hear me?
Pamela, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm reading this because I wanted to. So I'm president of Emerald Coast Public Relations, and we meet the second Tuesday of every month at the Chamber of Commerce over a lunch and learn. And we've got an incredible speaker, March 8th. Her name is Ashley Leppert. I don't even know how to say it. Leppert, military veteran, author, and inspirational speaker. And Ashley is the person that went on a mission to empower and inspire as a highly decorated rescue aviator in the United States Coast Guard. She saved dozens.
Coming up. I think we lost her. Yes, Ashley Leppert is a Coast Guard person. She's now retired, or medically retired, but she saved several dozen, I believe, or at least a dozen lives during Hurricane Katrina. During the flooding that occurred in New Orleans, she was part of the helicopter crew that saved several people, and that's what she was going to say. If she comes back, we'll let her come back in. Sarah, would you like to tell us about you?
Well, I am thrilled to be here. I've heard so many wonderful things. I'm so inspired by everything that I've heard. So I feel lucky to have been invited and to be amidst these wonderful women that you've introduced me to, David. Thank you very much. And thank you, ladies, for having me. I am a retail sales consultant with Florida Blue, and I work out of the Florida Blue Pensacola Retail Center. So I sell health insurance, of course, the Obamacare plans, and we sell off-marketplace plans also. And if you want to know more, we have wonderful things that are going on in our center. We have the nurses that are giving lectures, and they will take your personal health assessment also. And we have exercise classes. We have yoga and barre that's going on. So visit us online at floridabluecenters.com, Pensacola.
Thank you, Sarah. Feel free to put the information in the chat. And then, ladies, if you want to save the chat, once we are done, I don't know if you're familiar with Zoom, there are in the where the field is where you would type normally, right to the right of that, there are 3 dots. If you click those 3 dots, it'll allow you to save the chat as a document that you can save into your computers, and that way you'll have the contact information for the other ladies. Mo, Moorer, are you up? Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, 30 to 45 seconds, if you don't mind.
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Well, I first want to say thank you guys for having me tonight. I enjoyed getting to virtually meet everybody and hear your stories and information that I'm going to take a long way with me. My name is Mo. I'm based in Pensacola, Florida. I actually recently started my own clothing brand. So it's a family clothing and accessory brand. It's called SELF, stands for Start Evolving Life Forever. And to boil it down to something simple that doesn't take too long, it basically promotes the consistent discovery and evolution of your internal divine being. So basically someone going inside of themselves to seek the answers that they seek out of other people, places, and things.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for that. And let me see, do we have anybody else that has not introduced themselves within the audience? Pamela, are you back real quick, if you don't mind, to finish your thoughts?
Yes, I am so sorry. I just lost signal. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I have enjoyed every speaker tonight, and I just wanted to let them in on a woman that sounds like she'd have been perfect for the panel, the speaker that'll be at the chamber on March 8th. So you all are welcome.
Thank you very much, Pamela. And I know you're working very hard with that group, and you guys are doing great things. Ladies, I'm going to close it out here soon, but if anybody wants to stay a little bit longer, I'm okay with that. I can stay up until about 8:30 on the Zoom if you would like to chat with me about anything that you may want to add. Carolyn especially, or the Carolyns. There's two Carolyns here. They're both running for office. I just realized that. And then any other of you that want to stay on the Zoom. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to place in the chat, and then it's also already in the Facebook piece of things, okay? There was two ladies that unfortunately could not be with us, but we interviewed them a couple of weeks ago. They are Patty Iescas and Juanita Gandara, and they are both authors. They have written books here in the last, or in the case of Juanita, she wrote them a couple of years ago and continues to write more books for children. They're anti-bullying type of books. Juanita Gandara is the creator of Zoila the Zebra. So if you go to zoilathezebra.com, you'll know what I'm talking about. And they were kind enough to, Juanita was kind enough to donate one each of her books. And then Patty Iescas wrote a book that has to do with domestic violence. And tonight she had a set up for her book signing event that's coming up this Saturday, so she couldn't make it. But what you're going to see there is a kind of a giveaway of their books, and to make it interesting, I put in there 5 questions because there's 5 books to give away, and the questions all have to do with women and history and all of that. And if you want to enter the contest, answer any or all of the questions, and it tells you right there, you send me the answer to my email. And the first correct answer that I get on any of those questions gets one of the books. So I'm going to give away 5 books to the first 5 correct answers to any of those questions as I get them through email. Okay, so it's coming up on the chat. If you want to pick them up there, that's fine. And I also put them in Facebook. Okay, but I want to thank again everyone that was part of the panel. I knew some of them had to go to meetings. Cindy, muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Thank you very much for being with us all the way from Tallahassee. Keep up the great work that you're doing with the center up there at FSU. I want to thank Amy Williamson from coming all the way in from Mobile and doing some great things over there with her company in the aerospace world. And then my good friend, obviously, Theola Bright, who just keeps doing some wonderful things over there in the arts and culture and business-wise. We'll see Theola hopefully on the 20th when she comes for the International Festival. Let me see the other speakers already left. Angela, obviously, Patricia, for being our special guest and telling us all about her company. And as you can tell, she's a lot more professional than I am because she's got a nice green screen behind her. And I got this crappy one over here. It didn't work so well for me today. Dr. Zimmerman, I definitely want to thank you for the great, wonderful words that you gave. And just like the panel, outstanding points that you all made on behalf of women and about yourselves, and to hopefully inspire and to motivate and inform the young women that are out there to make a difference here in the future for them. So if you have to leave, go ahead and do so. If you want to stay for a little bit with me, Carolyn or anybody else, I'll stay until about 8:30, okay?
Buenas
Thank
noches.
you very much. Que Dios les bendiga.
Hasta
God
luego.
bless you.
Igual.
Buenas noches y muchas gracias. Hasta
Buenas
luego.
It's Carolyn, Sonia. How's everything going?
It's going great, David. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to joining you on the 20th at the International Fest.
Let me stop the live stream from Facebook so it doesn't go out on Facebook. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. That sounds like a great event.
It was wonderful to see you come up, and also Carolyn Taylor, who are both running for office, as Dr. Zimmerman said. More women in power is what we need, as far as I'm concerned. And I hope that your campaigns are going well. Carolyn, how are you doing with your campaign?
Going good. I just started a new job at the cannabis dispensary in Certera. So
I saw that.
yes, I am enjoying that. And we keep chugging. Need donations. Definitely. That's been the hardest part is.
Yeah, that's probably going to start pretty soon, huh? The big fundraising efforts and all those things.
Yes. So putting together some things now, but yeah, thanks for having me. I know I wanted to see Jennifer and I hopped on late, but thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I know you helped her a lot during her campaign, and now you're on your own, running your own campaign, and I'm sure you got a good team behind you. So anything that we can do with Conexion Media Group, obviously, as you know, we are here to serve. And hopefully, some of you will come out and shake some hands, meet and greet at the festival.
Absolutely.
As you deem appropriate on the 20th of March. I didn't get a chance to announce it because we were running a little bit behind schedule, but we have several events in March. Conexion Media Group has a lot of events coming up for Emerald Coast International Week. We do start that activity between the 20th and the 27th of March. There's one that's going to take place in Pensacola, Carolyn, and that's going to be a food truck festival at the Rincon Latino food truck lot over there on I don't know what I forget the name of the street. It's Tippin Street. So keep an eye for that. Amy, we're going to come to your side of the house on the 31st of March, I think. We're doing a networking social with three ladies from Mobile who are going to set up a business social at the Cosmopolitan Arts Center. So that's going to come up in Mobile at the end of this month. So a lot of activities in March. Keep an eye out for them. If you're not a member of it, I highly recommend you join it. It's called Hispanics and Friends Linked. That is our networking arm for Conexion Media Group. You can join that group in Facebook. It's free, obviously, Facebook free. So feel free to promote your campaigns to that, to let people know you're running. That group includes over 1,000 people from throughout the U.S., throughout the region, and even outside of the U.S., but a lot of them from Northwest Florida. So people that you're going to be outreaching to as politicians.
Yes. Well, I'm going to run, David. I'm going to try to catch the State of the Union here and see where we're at. I definitely stand with Ukraine. So keep head up, everyone.
Thank you, Carolyn. Have a good one.
Thank you, David. This was really a wonderful event this evening, and thank you for being so inclusive, allowing the rest of us to come on too and say a few words.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
You too. Angela, ¿y cómo estás tú? ¿Cómo te va todo? Patricia, perdón. Discúlpame. Es que te veo con Angela. Estás... Unmute. Descuéltate. Prende el micrófono.
Espérate. Ya. Thank you for having me, papacito. Muy bien todo. Y te digo que para mí es una súper oportunidad. Y me pareció muy bonita la actividad y te agradezco mucho haberme invitado.
Y si la subimos a Facebook Live, so ahí es donde va a haber mucho más personas. Lo hicimos by invitation only porque no queríamos que se metieran los Zoom los Zoom Warriors, esos que te friegan todo el programa, ¿no?
Ajá.
Oye, ¿y qué más, qué viene en tu marzo? ¿Qué planes tienes?
Pues te cuento que tenemos varias cosas pendientes, pero son cosas totalmente dirigidas a mujeres por la
Perfecto.
celebración del día. Pero también tenemos, pues que ahorita ya nos vamos a empezar a preparar para el festival, porque eso es súper larga la preparación con el tema de sponsors y todo
¿Cuál
eso.
festival?
Hispanic Jazz Festival.
Oh, sí.
Sí,
¿Y es en
ese es el que
septiembre?
nosotros sí, entonces, y quizás vamos a adelantarlo un poquitito pensando en la temporada del verano para los niños. Entonces, ya vamos a empezar con eso. Mucho
Perfecto.
trabajo.
Bueno, tú sabes que cualquier cosa que te podamos ayudar desde acá, promoverlo a nivel regional.
David,
Solo,
lo mismo por aquí. Lo que
solo
sea que yo te
mándalo.
pueda ayudar, aprovecha el buen momento del canal, que tú sabes que es una cosa
Y lo
pasajera,
vi la
no
otra vez,
eterna.
excelentísimo.
Así que aprovechalo y bueno, te esperamos por acá también.
Igualmente por acá también, cuando
Un
quieras
abrazo,
pasar a
mi
nuestra
David.
área, ¿ok? Ándale,
Vale,
pues buenas
listo. Un
noches.
abrazo. Thank you,
Gracias por
papá.
todo.
Bye.
Pamela, you still up?
I'm here. My
How's
mute
everything
button.
going? Any update on the food?
Kim from Walmart in Niceville. I know we're going to get a good amount of, and that's all I know is she said that's per her words, a good amount of donation. She's going to let us know by tomorrow. And then
Awesome.
we've got the 50 from Chick-fil-A. And then if we can get I know Alicia's talking to Peggy today, or tomorrow. I think she said she was going to try to get hold of her today, but try to pick it up tomorrow. There is 2 places that need letterhead and signature. You know, one of them is the Walmart in Niceville, and
Wonderful.
Alicia's going to drop it off. And then the other one is Sam's. You know, I'm trying to get gift cards so that when we get the water, the chips, the fruit, and
Yeah,
all
save
that
some
stuff.
money that way. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Awesome.
So Peggy needs to get that signed, and because that has to be on letterhead and a signature, you know, and then dropped off at customer support, and just hope they can move that fast, you know.
Okay,
So-
wonderful. So what I like to do, if you don't mind, is tomorrow, are you going to be at the lunch?
Yes,
Got it.
I am.
I'm planning to be at the lunch tomorrow, and then no later than Thursday, we'll probably do one last update between us, maybe meet if necessary, to just nail the last few, you know, the loose ends. You know what I mean? Because everything's going very well. Thank you for the hard work with the food, because I think that's very important in saving us money. But we can spend money if necessary with the organization. So everything's going great. Everything's going well.
Mhm. Good. I
Okay.
tell you, I just can't get over that. You know, I mean, I'm thrilled, and it's so funny. I wanted to tell
You can't be there on Saturday?
Yeah, you know I can't. You know,
I know.
I am leaving, but the 10:30 to 12:30, we have every 15 to 30 minutes. There is 7 of us going through CVS for the. We have to have it has to be Saturday because we travel
Right.
Sunday. It has to be within 48 hours.
Yeah, that's
A
fine.
negative COVID test.
That's
So,
fine.
you
Nothing
know,
you can do about that. That's priority.
it's
That's priority.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks
So-
for that. And so I'll see you tomorrow then. I'll see you tomorrow at lunch, okay?
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Hey, real
Okay.
fast question.
Go ahead.
Have you ever been to Cartagena, Colombia, or Copeland, Panama, or have you ever been to either of them?
I've been to both countries. I lived in Panama for 3 years. I've been to Colón, yes. I've never been to Cartagena, but it's beautiful. So you are gonna have a great time. Panama is little USA. However, the Colón area is the cruise ships go to the Colón area because that's I think it's the less let's call it less busy part of Panama. It's more you know, beachy type environment type of thing, and the big duty free entities are there. That's why the cruise ships start there or stop there. Because
Okay,
there's a
gotcha.
big duty free area there in Colón. Be careful though, stay with the crew because they always tell you that anyway. And Colón can be dangerous if you go into the wrong areas. But,
Gotcha.
beautiful area. I hope you go to you know, I'm sure you're just going to go to the main area of Colón, but there's a beautiful, and the name escapes me right now, but my favorite fishing area and beach area was actually there in Colón, Portobello, it's called.
Portobello.
Portobello, yeah, beautiful port is called Portobello.
I
In
may
that
pull
area of
up
Colón, in that area of
Mm,
Colón is where I used to go to chill out and relax, no telephone
Cool.
type of thing.
Yeah,
And then
I may, if you don't mind.
Cartagena is one of the most beautiful cities in Colombia.
I've never heard of that. Yeah, I have never been to, you know, Panama or
Yeah,
Colombia.
you're gonna
So
love it. You're gonna love both. Is that where you're
well,
going
I
to
may,
both
if I know
Colombia
it's
and
going to be a busy with, you know, busy tomorrow, but afterwards, or, you know, if possible, maybe you can look at the computer just a couple minutes and tell me which excursion I should be on, because I have
Oh
no
yes, send me
idea.
the link.
Gotcha.
You mean
Okay.
you're gonna send me the link to the cruise and
Yeah.
make suggestions to you? Got it.
Yeah, that'd be
Question for you:
awesome.
which other countries are you guys going to?
So it's weird. We're supposed to go from Tampa, and it said Grand Cayman,
Grand
but
Cayman
I
Islands, yeah.
just saw a change already. They had a change. It said Key West, and they skipped over. You know, they are bypassing Grand Cayman, and that might change back. But that the last 24 hours it changed for some reason. So we're supposed to be Grand Cayman, then Cartagena, Colombia, then
Panama.
Cologne, Panama, and then Costa Rica, and Cozumel, and then back to Tampa. But now they're talking, you know, Key West instead of Grand Cayman. So
I lived in all those countries except the Grand Cayman Islands.
Mhm.
But when I was in Colombia, I lived in Bogota, which is the main city, the main capital.
Mhm.
But, I wish I had been able to go to Cartagena because that's where the big
Yeah.
carnival is. That's where the
No,
carnival a la New Orleans style is in Cartagena.
see, you know all those areas. I do not. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
you're gonna
goodness.
love it.
And there's so many excursions, and you know, you can't spend fortune and, you know, do everything. So
Right.
yeah, I might have you kind of glance over and see which ones you think you would do, you know,
Yeah.
in the different ports, you know, and
So how long
stuff.
is this tour? 15 days?
I know, it's crazy.
I love it.
It is 11 days.
How did you
Believe it
win
or not.
that?
Oh my gosh. So remember in January, Tammy's Journeys was at the chamber. And
Right.
she said, believe me, we've had to buy 2 more. So, you know, we'll
no,
be
right.
well over $5,000, you know, when
Right,
this
but
is
it's
all
gonna be,
said and done.
yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. But she said, you know, we're having a travel show. Well, this is, you know, I'm giving God the glory, David, because I went to the mall to go, and they called it Passport, to go around to the different vendors. They had all these different cruise companies there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I really was going to buy Chase, but I was going to buy it the end of the year and just honestly do like a Carnival or something out of Mobile, you know, like
Right.
a $500 cruise,
Right, one of
because he's
the
turning
cheap ones.
30. Right, because he's turning 30. So
Right.
we thought him and his best friend that's turning 30, you know, we just, you know, do that. Well, God had a bigger plan. I had no idea they were giving away. See, they did give a 5-day at the chamber in February, but I won a cruise blanket, right? Well, Kathy McKinney goes, I'm holding off for the grand prize. And about the time I said what grand prize, they called Chase's name. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah,
love it.
so exciting, you know. So
I love it.
anyway.
That is
Oh yeah.
awesome.
So you know, God does tenfold.
Yes,
Instead
he
of a
does.
500,
That
we're doing
he
a
does.
$5,000 cruise, you know.
That he does. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna have a great time. I know you are. In those countries
Thank
that you
you.
mentioned, there's some of the, you know, they're safe countries. I mean, obviously, you don't want to go on your own to certain places, but in a cruise environment, no
Right.
question, you're gonna have a great time. I hope you get to go through the Panama Canal. I don't know if you will or not, but
Well, no, and I do want to, and there's a couple different, I want to send that over to you to look at those, glance
yeah,
at those.
send it to me,
excursions.
and I'll
Yeah,
give you some
because
info.
someone had mentioned the river, you have to do, you're going to want to do the river cruise, but it looks like there's 2 different boats. So I'm not quite sure which one, you know.
Who else
but,
is going? You and who else?
our family. So we bought
the
two
whole
more,
family.
you know, and then Doug Chambers, which is godparent of Chase and Ryan, and then Azadeh and Cyrus, you know, because the mother and the son that we were going to both plan, you know, $500 cruise. Well,
Right.
they're going. So the boys are turning 30 the fourth quarter, but they're getting some, you know, they're going to be celebrating in March.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is
so,
awesome. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a great time.
yeah, exactly. And I know, you know, it's been a rough year. So, you know, granted, financially, you know, it's not really at a great time, but, you know, hey, we're going to make it happen and we're going to enjoy ourselves, you
There you
know,
go.
so.
That's the key right there. That's the
Yeah,
key.
in my surgery, they moved it to March 28th because obviously I wouldn't have enough healing time. So, you know,
Oh, I
anyway,
see.
so yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
But,
All right, girl. I'll see you
well,
tomorrow.
thank you.
Thanks for coming
Okay,
on.
see you
I hope you liked it.
I did. I
Thank
sure
you.
did. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.